So this is a follow-up of my last video. The last video we did build a video converter app. I can show you that in case you haven't seen the video. For more context, it would be nice to go see the video, but the gist of it is we built a video converter where you could select the video. So we could pick this video, for example. We could convert it to MP4 or MP3, and when we convert it, we're going to get an audio that we can play. And the other thing I talked about, which people have asked me, is, hey, can we do a follow-up of this where we send this to some service or build something that transcribes that video? It's a very good way to build a transcription service. So usually what people would do with this kind of solution is they would take a YouTube video, some link, transcribe the audio, transcribe it, convert it to an audio first, then they transcribe it. And then based on that, they get a video summary. So you could build like a video summary service. And today I'm just going to show you how to get to the transcription part. If you want to see anything, please let me know in the comments. And if you find this video really helpful, please subscribe. It goes a long way. It helps the channel. I'm a very small channel, so I do not get anything out of it. But right now, for me, it just shows that people are watching this content and that people really appreciate it. So without thinking about this too much, let's talk about it. What we've built in the past is that we have a service, or we have a solution that you upload a file, we have a convert to MP3 function and an MP4 function. And essentially what that does is it uses FFmpeg in the browser, converts this and takes care of it. To further make this a little bit better, what we're going to do is just proof of concept. This isn't going to be the cleanest code. Like everything we've written here, this is just boilerplate, show you how it's done. For production, I would actually clean this up a little bit nicer than it is. For example, things around CDOM setting statuses and all of that. I'll probably use an enum or something. I'm repeating myself a lot. And that's something that we would have to clean up at some point in time. So to get a transcription service, instead of using or implementing our own native machine learning model or Rhino model and taking care of all of that, we're actually going to be using OpenAI. OpenAI does have very nice API with quick response time. Let me know. So if you want me to make a video around running your own models locally, this is something I do for people, for clients, implementing models natively, training models and doing that. I don't know if you guys are going to find AI content interesting, but yeah, put it in the comments. So we're going to be using OpenAI. They have a speech-to-text model. They also have a text-to-speech model if you want to build that. In one of my videos, we did talk about building our virtual girlfriend where you could link back to make the girlfriend talk. Technically, you could use this. I wasn't using this. I was in 11 Labs, but yeah, you could do that. You could do the audio generation, image generation, and all of that. The advantage of rolling out your own model is you have control. You can do things, more uncensored things, and control the way things work. But for transcription, essentially, this is what we want to do. We want to take an OpenAI API package, and what we're going to do is we're going to pass an audio file and tell it to transcribe. We already are converting the video to audio, so all we need to do is pass our audio file this way. We don't need to open anything, and then we run it. So to get started, first things first, we're going to have to go install npm and install the package for OpenAI. The package is just OpenAI, so we could install that, and this is in Python, so do Node. The other thing worthy of note is by default, OpenAI prefers that we run this package in a backend, so in like a Node backend, and we can do that in Next.js. It's simple. We could just go ahead, make a folder, call this API, and then we train our routes in there. That would work. There's nothing wrong with that. For this video, I'm not going to do that. I'm just going to put everything in this page, make it simple, just so that this video doesn't get too long. So first thing, we need to install the npm package for OpenAI. Once we have that installed, the next thing we'll do is to import that package. So I'm going to go ahead and import, and I'm sure it knows. So the next thing I want to do is to initialize a client. For some reason, it is giving me suggestions with someone's key. So I'm guessing someone probably uploaded their key, and the completion model was trained on that. So essentially here we'll pass our API key. This you'll be getting from an env. maybe an environment file. So we could do process.env.openai key, and then this, we need to say allow in browser. And the reason why we need to say this is by default, and I can show you this. By default, if we do not do this, so now it's saying it can find the key, so we're going to create an env file and throw this in. Like I said, I don't want us to go outside this file. What I'm going to do is I'm going to just create a temporary key. Don't copy it, it's not going to work by the time you watch this video. But I'm going to put in this key and say yes. And now it says error. It seems like you're running a browser environment. This is disabled by default. And the reason is essentially because if we let this way, our key is going to be exposed to the public, and that's a security problem. And then you rack up bills and all of that. So we can set this dangerously allow browser to true. And essentially what that does is that allows us to run this in the browser. It just means that we've accepted that we know the risk and we're willing to take whatever comes out of that. So now that we have this, we've created the client. All we need to do is to use this client to do whatever we want to do. So in order to do that, first thing we want to do here is I'm going to create a new method. And that new method is going to be transcribe audio. Transcribe audio, transcribe video. So because we're taking the video file, right? So we'll say transcribe video and async function, and this is it. So what do we want to do here for transcribing video? First thing, like I always like doing, I like wrapping things in a try catch, and we can set our statuses so it's guessing based on the style I have in the previous code, and that's very helpful. That speeds things up for us. First thing we want to do is we want to set our status, right? So we want to see what's happening at this point. Let's use transcribing. So I'll say transcribing. So we've set status that we're transcribing, and then the other thing we want to do is we have no errors for now, and then we'll check, do we have a video? And it's doing a nice job. It's telling us no video selected, and then we need to instantiate FFmpeg. So we're getting FFmpeg. We already instantiated this at the top. If you haven't seen the previous video, you could click in the link. It's going to be somewhere there, and you can go watch the first video and see how we're using FFmpeg in the browser. So we do have this, and then we want to check if FFmpeg isn't loaded. Essentially, this is probably lifting from the code we have on the top, which is, it's fine. That's essentially what we want to do. Like I said, this is in production ready code. We would need to sort of reuse this method, so we'll probably just create a method for mp3 that returns like an audio buffer or some uint array that we can reuse. But just to keep this video short, once again, we're just doing it this way. So when we do that, the next thing we want to do is we want to write our input file, and we're going to get the video name, fetch the file. I already explained what this fetch file does and where it's coming from. It's coming from FFmpeg. And then the next thing we want to do is we want to convert to MP3, right? So we need to convert our file to MP3, and we'll probably name our file MP3. We can change the format, whatever we want to do. And then I also talked about what this function does, how we're reducing the quality and everything, but see the other video. And then once this is done, we're going to read the output file, right? So first things first, we want to read, I'll call this audio data, and we're getting the output file. So whatever it has converted to MP3, we grab that data or grab that file. And then the next thing we want to do, we're going to, so just to clean this up, I want to make a blob out of this file, out of the data we've read from this. So we're going to make an audio blob of type mp3, and then we're going to make an audio file. So why are we making an audio file? Like I mentioned, if we come here, this model expects like a file. It can be a file stream, a file itself. And because we already have this audio blob, we can convert the audio blob into an MP3 file. And if you hover over this, you're going to see what we're doing. We need to pass the blob, the file name, and options. So options, we're passing file property and whatnot. You can rename your file, whatever. It doesn't matter what the name of the file is right now. If we were downloading this file, if we're going to be serving this file, allowing people to download it, maybe the name is going to matter for us. But right now, it doesn't really make sense. So that's all we need to do. So the next thing we want to do is we want to do our transcription, right? And we say transcription is going to be with await. So this is incorrect. It's going to be client and audio and then transcription. So just track back a little bit. We'll see that we have translate, we have speech, so we can do a bunch of things with this package. So we say transcriptions, and we're going to create a new transcription. This transcription expects two things. It expects a file, and that file is going to be this our audio file that we created, and we can choose a model that we want to use. In this case, we're going to be using Whisper 1. So right now, I think they only have one model. Not I think, they only have one audio Whisper 1. There might be other things as time goes on, right? So that's that. And then once this is done, the next thing is we display this. So for now, let's just console log the transcription, and it's going to have a text property. So what we're interested in is the transcription text. For now, what I'm going to do is I'm going to also set the status. We'll just say set status to success. That way we know this is done. And that's this. And when I come up, I see that I didn't spell my transcribe properly. So we say transcribe video. And this is the method that's going to do the whole thing. So we're going to need a new button. We just create a new button, and this we're going to call transcribe video, and status is going to be, so I'm just going to change this and say once this is transcribe, and here I'm going to use transcribe again, but just make it caps, and here I'm going to say transcribe video. So for this, let's just change this. I'll use slate just so that it's different. And essentially what this will do is when I select the file here, so this file, for example, we now have transcribed video. I'm going to open up the console, and that way we're going to see if this works. So we click transcribe, let FFmpeg do its thing, and yeah, we see 1, 2, 3, and it seems like it's a song. So we already had this in the last video. It's a song that's played, and that's essentially how transcription works. So to clean this up a little bit, what I'm going to do is I'm going to come up here, and I'm just going to create the transcribe text. Yeah, this guy knows what to do. So I'm going to create a transcribe text, and essentially what I want to do hold here is the text that we're transcribing. So I'm going to come back here, and instead of just console logging this, I'm going to transcribe this text, and once we transcribe this text, we're going to display the transcribed text at the top. So we have our transcribed text in here. We're going to make a different path for this, and the way I'll do this is I'll say once we have transcribed text, we want to have a div. This looks good by me. The other thing I'm going to add here is I'm going to add MT8, and essentially we should be good. So let's try it again. We select the video, select this, and we say transcribe video. And for some reason, it works. So we have the transcribe video showing here. This is text gray. I do not like text gray for this. I'm just going to change this to white, and maybe white like 50%, and make the other one like pure white. So essentially, if we do that, now we have our transcribed text. So you could do this for a bunch of different videos and different things, and it should just work. For some reason, our status is transcribing, and we don't have that properly showing in here. So we want when our status is in transcribing, let's show this, and it's irrelevant, but it just makes for a nicer experience, I think. So when we click on this, we see like this is showing, and that's it. So we have this. If we have a different file, we can do this. This is essentially how you get all of this working. We could also take advantage of something like a different file format, and instead of choosing a video file, we could do like a URL. From the URL, we download it and then do the same thing. So once again, thank you for checking this out. If you find this helpful, please like the video, subscribe. Thank you very much for watching. See you around.